Start by writing your name and teacher code on the back. Then we will use some cool colors, the blue, purple, and kind of a turquoise green color to add to our background. You can start with any color you choose. So maybe you want to start with purple and someone else wants to start with blue, that's okay. Or maybe you only want to use 2 colors, that's also okay. You decide how to fill your paper, and I'm going to demonstrate how you can kind of blend them nicely. Start out by making sure that your brush is pretty dry. Sometimes they get cleaned right before you come in, so they might be a little bit damp. So try and get the extra water off of them. It helps keep from watering our paint down. So choose whatever color you would like and get some on your brush. Give it a dunk in the paint. And then you're just going to start making large brush strokes. So from one side of your paper all the way to the other, kind of go back and forth. Lift your brush every single time, making sure to thoroughly cover the paper. So this means we might have to dunk it in the paint repeated times. So it starts getting kind of dried out and like making this kind of mark, we need a little more paint. So decide how far down you want to go with whatever color you're using. And when you're ready to switch colors, so instead of rinsing and getting our brush wet, because these colors get along, we're just going to get the extra off with a paper towel. And sometimes there's not that much on our brush, so we don't even need to do this step. But just so it's not really, really drippy, and we'll just dip into our next color. So we're not stirring, we're just dipping, so we're not changing the color. And I like to leave a little bit of room at first in between my colors, and then after I have some on here, I will overlap. So I'm getting kind of a stripe of purple. And now that my stripe is large enough, I'm going to paint up and I'm going to overlap my blue just a little bit, going back and forth, very large brush strokes. If you do tiny brush strokes, it will not blend as nicely. Really make sure to cover your paper very thoroughly so you don't have a bunch of the gray paper showing. And keep going. So maybe you want to do a pattern, or maybe you just want to use all 3. You decide how to fill your paper. When you're finished adding paint to your paper and you've covered all the spots of gray paper showing, put your brush in the sink. There will be a special bucket in there for you, so put it brush down so it can soak. And then walk over and grab a piece of cardboard, a large piece, and very carefully slide it under your piece of paper. Your paper is going to be very soft because it's kind of wet with paint, so carefully slide it underneath. And then you're going to slowly walk to the drying rack and place it on the drying rack.